guys, I'm Eva and today we're going to create some crazy fire eyes and other fire effects using 4K fire from Rampant Design Tools. I got the idea while watching a music video from the 80s and I thought it was pretty cool and I wondered how to do it, and then Rampant made some epic 4K overlays of fire. I don't think I could be able to film that myself because I'm pretty clumsy and my apartment would probably burn down. Also, it's shot with a Red Epic camera, which gives amazing quality, and I know I can't afford to rent one to shoot that, so it's a lot less expensive for anyone to just get some really good clips that you can use over and over again because there's so many clips in the package. Your creativity is really the limit, you can do so much stuff with it. In this picture, you see that the middle of the eye is really bright and there's sort of a halo around it. Okay, so first we are going to open After Effects. I'm using CC, but you can do it in any version because it's simply overlays. I have my clip here already because I linked it from my project, but if you need to import your clip, you would go in File, Import, and you would get your file. Or you can simply drag your clip from your file in your computer, and then you drop it in your project folder in After Effects so that you would have your clip there. Make sure your clip is selected and go in Animation, Track in Mocha. Just gonna go a little bit forward where the eyes are open. I'm gonna take my X-spline and I'm gonna make a bunch of dots right where the eye is. I'm gonna do the two eyes separately so that I can get a better information for each eye. Then I'll go and I'll track forward. And I'll go back and I'll track backwards now. Now that this is done, I'm gonna go and export tracking data. I make sure that I have position, scale, and rotation on. Copy to clipboard. We go back in After Effects. We go in Layer, New, Null Object. Make sure you're at the beginning here and you paste your information. And now you have information for your old clip. You can rename it. Now we're gonna do the same thing for the other eye. And then I'm gonna export, position, scale, rotation, copy to clipboard, go in your After Effects, you go in Layer, New, Null Object, and we can rename it, paste it. Now that we have motion tracking of our left and right eye, I'm going back in Premiere Pro, and then I'm just going to drag all my fire effects on the timeline. If I want to go for small flames or bigger flames, then it will be easier to pick it. And then I would just drag it and drop it in my project. And remember that these are in 4K, so it's a lot bigger than our HD project. I'm gonna move it in the screen where I want it to be. I will turn it a little bit using the rotation tool here. I need to link it to my right eye. So I'm going to use the parenting tool, drag the little swirl to right eye. And you see that every time she moves now, it's going to be parented to the eye. So it's nice as is, but it would be better if we change the blending mode. We can do maybe a screen, so it feels more natural. If you would like to make it symmetrical, we would simply maybe duplicate this. We would remove the parenting. Then we're going to move it to the other side. And we will need to take the corner of it, change it to the other side like that, and move it where we want it. And then parent it to the left eye. I'm just going to duplicate it. My clip has a duration longer than the duration of my timeline here, so I can move it a little bit like that, so that the fire will not start at the same point and will not have the same shape. Then I can duplicate it again. That layer will remain linked to my left eye when I do that, because it's a copy of my previous layer. Then I'm going to move it a little bit to have another shape, change its shape by moving the corner. You duplicate as many times as needed. If you want to create something with a lot of flames, you can have a lot of layers, it's really up to you. Now we're gonna put some on the other side too, and we will change the parent to right eye instead of left eye. I'm going to speed up this part because it's exactly the same technique as we just did for the other eye. Try to not make the exact same thing as the other eye because you want it to look more realistic. Okay, so now I have imported a new overlay. And I'm gonna screen it just like the other ones. And I'd like to change its color to blue To do this, I'm gonna go in Effect and Preset, and I will write Hue Saturation. Then you can just drag your Hue Saturation on the clip, and you will have to change the master hue until you get the color you want. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the other eye. Duplicate it, and I'm gonna link it to the right eye. Then I can duplicate blue flames as much as I want for both eyes. I think these ones I'm gonna make it less opaque. I will select one, I go in transform, I go in opacity, and I lower the percentage. Now we are going to make the bright spot just in front of the eyes. So to do so, I'm going to go in Layer, New, Solid. You can pick any color because we are going to add a gradient ramp after. You go in Effect and Preset, you can write ramp or gradient and it will pop. You can choose a bright red. We're going to choose a bright yellow. We're going to place our solid under the two null objects we did. I'm going to take the pen tool and create some kind of almond shape, something that could look like an eye. Now I'm gonna place it on top of her eye. And I'm gonna move the end of my ramp so that I can have both colors closer. I'm gonna go now in the parent section and I'm gonna parent it to my right eye so that whenever it will move, it should follow. Next step is to add a CC light burst on my yellow solid. And I'm gonna open my yellow solid, I'm gonna go in mask, open my mask here, and I will add a little feather to it so that it will blend better. Also, to make sure it blends well, I'm gonna change the mode to screen. We can increase our intensity for the light burst and also the length of the ray. You can always change your mask shape. Gonna go in mask and add more feather to it because it just blends better. To remove the indicator of your mask, you can always go here and uncheck this. The mask is still there, but you're just not going to see it, so it maybe is easier for you to see what it does. If you feel that it's too opaque and you would like to see the eye better, go in the transform section like we did before for the opacity. Then you would lower the opacity of it, like this. Now that we have it, I'm just going to duplicate it. Now we will have two solid, and I'm gonna link it to my left eye, and I'm gonna change its side and place it where I want it. I'm gonna make sure that my burst mode is at straight. I feel like it gives a better effect. You can totally customize it, but this is just a beginning for you to understand what you can do with it. So now we could add more fire under the eyes. So this is what we are going to do now. Now we are going to add more flames under our eyes here. To do so, we need to do a tracking of the section under our eyes. So we're gonna go back to our original clip here, and we're gonna make sure it's selected. We will go in Animation, Track in Mocha Eye. I'm not gonna explain it, I'm just going to fast forward it. It's exactly the same technique as we did before. It's important to redo a different tracking for different part of the face to have a more accurate tracking. Then we would go back in After Effects. Since I'd like to be able to see better what I'm doing, I'm just going to select all the fire clips I did before and I'm going to shy them. To shy them, what I do is that I select them and then I press the shy button. It hides all the layers that I selected. It's not gone, don't worry. But if I click on it, it's gonna appear again. It just makes everything easier to see. So now I already added a null object for both eyes. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna create a new null again. Layer, new, null object. And then we're gonna rename it. So I select it, I go at the beginning, and then I paste it. And I'm gonna go back and do the same thing with the other eye. Going back again in After Effects, new layer, new null, we're gonna rename it, going back at the beginning here, and we paste it. So just like we did before, I'm going to copy a bunch of fire overlays and place it on both sides and play with the colors. If you would like to do the whole face, you could track every part of the face like this and cover whole face with fire, or complete body if you feel like it. It's really up to you. I'm moving a little bit my clip so that it never really starts at the same movement. Again, if you wish to make some less opaque, you can always go in transform and change the opacity to make it a little bit more transparent. Don't forget that you can always turn some of your clips using the rotation tool. This way the flames are gonna have a different shape, and sometimes it blends better with the face this way. You can play with the dimension of your flame, make it bigger or smaller. The good thing about overlays is that it's going to be super fast to render it. It's not like using a plugin where it's gonna get a little bit long to export it after. Obviously, all the things you can do with the overlays are use it as overlays. I'm just going to use my clip and I'm gonna drag some of the overlay in a project. Now that I have it, I'm just going to put it on top of my clip. It's a very wide overlay, so I'm going to move it on top of it. And I'm gonna change the blend mode to screen. You can use it as is, or if you make it bigger and you would put it on top here, you could use it as an alpha channel, meaning that wherever the fire is, the background of the clip is already transparent, so everywhere there is white is the alpha channel of the clip. Alpha added, and I would link it to my alpha matte. So by linking it to my alpha channel of my fire clip, I'm going to see my character only through the flames. You can now have fun layering both techniques. And if you really like some weird effects, we can pre-comp everything we did just now. And then we would add a CC flow motion to our clip and create some weird fractal effects. You can also add another amount on the second dot. Everything here can be animated too. You can play with the keyframes. I recommend you play with it, it's kind of fun. I think the fire really adds something to the psychedelic effect. And don't forget that you can always create some crazy patterns and then layer it on top of your other clip using a different blending mode, such as screen. Another one that is fun to use is CC light rays. I'm just gonna drag it on my clip, then I will select one of the eye. I'm gonna put it to lighten, expand the warp softness and the radius. And the more you expand the radius, the more psychedelic it gets. So you could even do that for both eyes. I'm just going to duplicate this and change my center to the other eye, so it gets pretty crazy. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you like my tutorials and my music videos. If you want to check out more of my stuff, I also do pictures and body paintings, so you can go on my fan page on Facebook and let me know what you think. Up next, learn how to use the 4K distortion tool from Runtime Design Tools to create some amazing distortion in your clips. Stay tuned!